If you're getting a bit bored with your current strategy games and looking for something a little new, well, good news, because today I'll be sharing with you 20 of my most anticipated strategy games coming soon that I can't wait to play. Hey everyone, it's Marco here, and coming up I'll be showcasing everything from real-time strategy games to turn-based tactics, from grand strategy to roguelikes, and a whole lot more to add to your wish list right now, so you don't want to miss out. First up is Chronicles Medieval, a strategy game set to rival popular titles like Mount & Blade or even Total War, and it's set for release sometime next year. In the game, you start at the bottom in a vivid medieval Europe with nothing but ambition and grit. As your character, you'll choose your path, whether it's through adventure, power, or fortune, and then you'll recruit troops, build castles, lead massive battles, hold sieges, and carve out your legacy. What really looks crazy though is the scale of the combat, like the field battles, the sieges, the troops that you're going to be leading yourself, as well as the sandbox freedom, which again reminds me a lot of Mount & Blade, which I kind of prefer, just going off and doing my own thing, creating my own adventure, and all of this sounds very promising. So if you're like me and you enjoy these epic medieval sandbox games like Mount & Blade, well then keep your eyes on Chronicles Medieval, as it looks really cool despite that confusing name. It should be the other way around, I feel. And just to add, if you find something in this list that you really enjoy, perhaps leave a like or maybe even subscribe to find more games to get lost in. Coming up at number 19 is Battlestar Galactica Scattered Hopes. This is going to be a turn-based roguelike spin on the iconic series, but instead of leading humanity to a new home, you're going to be piloting a few beat-up ships trying to catch up to the Galactica and join the fleet. Best of all, Adama is in the mix. It's got some FTL-style gameplay with character progression, and it's going to come with these tense real-time with paused battles against the Cylons. Those fights are looking cinematic, they're looking great. It's got full 3D visuals and these big fiery explosions that are going to be cranking up the tension, hopefully a lot. Scattered Hopes is scheduled for early release on Steam next year, and if it comes with even a little bit of what made FTL so great, plus a few new tricks and treats under the hood, well then Battlestar Scattered Hopes could be something truly special. So say we all. Coming up at number 18 is Star Wars Zero Company, and yeah, this one's got me really excited. I even made a whole video about it. It's going to be a full-blown turn-based tactics game set during the Clone Wars, and the best part is that it's coming from Bit Reactor, the same studio that comes with tons of XCOM and Civilization veterans, and it's co-developed with Respawn and Lucasfilm. So basically it's Star Wars with a lot of XCOM influence, and that sounds all good to me. You're going to play as Hawks, this disgraced Republic officer who forms a covert ops team, aka Zero Company, to take on these missions the Republic won't acknowledge. The vibe's more Andor than Skywalker Saga, so it's going to be grounded, it's going to be murky, it's going to be full of clones, Mandalorians, and a few rogue Jedi. Set to release sometime in 2026 for both PC and console, Zero Company might finally be the Star Wars tactics game we've all been waiting for. Then coming up next at number 17 is this game called Bloodgrounds. It may have flown under your radar. It reminds me a lot of the mobile game called Gladiator Manager, except that it looks like they're going to be cranking it up a notch. Now, I played this long ago during the Steam Next Fest of beginning of this year, and it really caught my eye as being one of my favorite turn-based games that are going to be coming up. Basically, you're going to be running your own gladiator camp, recruiting, training, and then upgrading your fighters to become unstoppable arena legends. However, there is a deep pool of stats that you're going to be tinkering with. It comes with tons of gear that you're going to equip and just make your characters look badass, and there's even some mythical elements thrown in, so your roster can get as creative as you want it to be. The combat though is just fully turn-based and is amazing. It'll be rewarding smart planning and clever combos, and the crowd even throws in optional challenges mid-fight for some extra rewards, and it just makes it feel like you got this coliseum surrounding you. It's pretty cool. Set for release on the 5th of November, so any day now. This is a game if you enjoy your turn-based strategy games with a little bit of RPG on the side. This is definitely gonna tick all those boxes for you, and worth checking out. Next up, if you're craving that classic fantasy-packed strategy experience, well then we need to talk about Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, as even though it's only coming out next year, the demo is out, so stop what you're doing, go play it, it is amazing. Oh, and don't forget to return to this video, obviously. This is going to be the official prequel of the legendary Heroes of Might and Magic series, taking us way back to the roots of the world that started it all. I'll be honest, I'm quite new to the HOM franchise, and after playing the demo a while back, I finally understand why thousands of players are so excited for this release. It's got everything that makes turn-based strategy so addictive: massive armies, layered tactics, and rich fantasy world building. At first I was unsure about the hex grid combat, but trust me, it goes very deep. It's got different spells, it's got crazy attacks, and all these cool heroes to add to your roster that can eliminate the enemies almost instantly with massive fireballs, different attacks. It's pretty cool. However, it's also got tons of layers in terms of strategy and tactics on the back, especially like setting up different teams and then sending them out into this magical land. After playing the demo in the previous Steam Next Fest, to me Olden Era is shaping up to be something special. So if you love commanding fantasy heroes and mythical beasts in intense tactical battles, well then Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era really deserves a spot on your wishlist today. Next up on the list, we've got Slay the Spire 2, which is due for release in March next year. And if you've liked the first one, this might be your next late night or entire weekend obsession. It's the sequel to the deck building roguelike that kicked off a genre, and it also looks like they're going to be turning it up a notch. The core loop stays the same: you're going to build a deck, fight enemies, try not to die. However, a bunch of cool mechanics are going to shake things up. For instance, your cards can be afflicted, there's going to be some quests that can clog up your deck until you fulfill them, and enchantments that boost power but demand a painful cost. It's still a bit early, like it's set for release in March next year, so we're not entirely sure what's what, but from what we've seen so far, it's looking pretty good. If you enjoy tight strategy, high stakes deck building, and the feeling of just one more run that turns into about 3 to 10 hours, well, Slay the Spire 2 needs to be on your radar today. Coming up next at number 14 is PVKK, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the rest of that. I'm not going to disappoint my German viewers out there, so sorry about that. Yeah, in English, it basically means Planet Defense Cannon Commander. It's made by the same team behind Domekeeper. This one's perfect if you love retro tech, cozy bunkers, and tough moral choices wrapped in a sci-fi shell. In the game, you'll play as the commander of a massive planetary defense cannon, and you'll be responsible for fending off alien invaders while juggling scarce resources, frantic controls, and probably trying to not drink so much tea. Hot, 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 hot. Between missions, you'll upgrade your bunker, try and uncover political conspiracies. It's not your usual management sim though. I'd say it's more of that immersive, hands-on feel kind of game. It's a bit like Space Trucker, if you remember that. Ones where every switch and lever actually does something. The tactile control setup puts you right in the cockpit, while the narrative pulls you into messy questions of loyalty and survival. It's got these escape room style puzzles, it's got different endings. So to me, PVKK is shaping up to be one of the most interesting strategy experiences on the horizon, and even though it's only coming out towards the end of next year for PC, it's definitely one to keep note of. Next up on the list at number 13 is Mars Tactics, a game that I cannot wait for because it's basically XCOM meets Red Faction. It's going to be a turn-based tactics game with a full strategic layer, where you'll be throwing Capital's corporate military against the Labor's revolutionaries in a brutal war for Mars's future. What's crazy is that the battles have this dynamic destruction, like cover can crumble, artillery will reshape the terrain, and your soldiers will evolve based on the different battles. Between the fights, you'll be managing logistics, researching upgrades, and juggling each faction's unique edge. So for example, Labor's got the scrappy ingenuity, and Capital, they've got the industrial might. Every skirmish feeds into a larger planet-wide campaign, making each victory or loss actually matter, with destructible maps, deep soldier progression, as well as that turn-based tactical chaos that we've come to enjoy from the old school favorites, well as recent ones too. Well then you definitely want to go check out Mars Tactics today. Then coming up next at number 12 is Fragile Existence, which is going to be the sci-fi strategy game that's going to combine survival, exploration, and tactical decision making into one crazy cool looking game. You play as the fleet commander, where you'll be leading the scattered remnants of humanity after an unknown force wipes out Earth. And your job, well, you need to keep what's left of civilization alive as you jump from system to system, scavenging for resources, founding colonies, and preparing for whatever's chasing you across the stars. What makes it stand out though is its scope. You're going to be managing an entire civilization while on the run. More planets, more problems, and that non-linear campaign will ensure no two journeys unfold in the same way. You'll also be juggling intricate resource logistics, running ground expeditions with this RTS style with pause gameplay, and you'll also get to tinker with modular ships to adapt on the fly. So if all of that sounds good to you, like it does for me, I mean, this game has been on my wishlist for ages. I think the release date is going to be sometime, hopefully this year, and it's looking like a must-play for anyone who's a fan of the sci-fi genre. Coming up, if your eyes are not a fan of the sleeping genre, well then let's have a look at my very first sponsor, Manta Sleep. I've been using their Manta Sound Sleep Mask for a little over a month now, and honestly it's been a game changer for my sleep schedule. It's a full blackout sleep mask with built-in Bluetooth speakers, so if you're like me and you like to fall asleep to music or a podcast, but earbuds always pop out or hurt your ears, this fixes that. I put on an audiobook, the room goes dark, and I'm out. It's adjustable, breathable, and it feels premium, which is great at home or when traveling. Better sleep means better mood and a better focus for all those hardcore strategy games that you just need to dominate. They've also got different versions for whatever kind of sleeper you are, plus a whole pro nap movement built around better rest. Check out the link below and use the code DISTRACTED10 for 10% off. Now back to the games. Then coming up next at number 11, we've got Dinolords. I'm always featuring this game because yes, it is Age of Empires with dinosaurs, and that's all you need to know. This is going to be a real-time strategy title that mixes the old school RTS vibes with a wild action-packed twist. In the game, you'll gather resources, raise fortifications, and then lead your army against the invading Danes who've somehow enlisted dinosaurs as war machines. And yes, a Stegosaurus covered in Viking shields is every bit as glorious as it sounds. To me, what makes Dinolords stand out though is the balance between strategy and action. Like cool, you're going to be building castles and commanding troops, but then you're also going to be jumping into the battle yourself, like sword or bow in your hand, ready to take on the next real-time Saurus coming your way. Plus, the game will come with modular castle construction, resource automation, and a glorious dose of prehistoric chaos. It's looking to be like a game that's equal parts Age of Empires and Jurassic Park. If all of that sounds good to you and you just want something different in your real-time strategy games, well then Dinolords is definitely one to check out. Then coming up next at number 10, we've got Europa Universalis V. And yeah, it's finally happening after 12 long years. Paradox is back with their biggest historical strategy game yet, and it's looking pretty wild. You start the game in 1337, right at the beginning of the 100 Years' War, and guide any nation all the way to the Industrial Revolution. They've ditched the old manor system, so now you're going to be managing actual population groups like nobles, peasants, merchants, clergy, each coming with their own demands and tempers. So if you ignore a famine or maybe screw up a reform, well then you're going to expect riots and rebellions knocking at your palace door. The new map is also massive. It's the biggest Paradox has ever made, and also terrain finally matters. Mountains, rivers, and trade routes all change how wars and politics will play out. The economy will be deeper, the AI will be smarter, and every decision will feel like it could actually backfire in a glorious way. So if you are a fan of Europa Universalis, you probably know about this already, but for those who don't know it, well, it's coming out in November, so definitely check it out soon. Then coming up next at number 9, we've got Kingmakers, and this is basically dropping down my list because I'm worried it's never going to come out. And I mean, did they bite off more than they can chew? This is going to be a mind-bending time travel based defense game that also blends medieval warfare with modern firepower, and it almost looks too good to be true. As humanity's last hope, you're going to be sent 500 years back to medieval England to alter the course of history and prevent the apocalypse. Plus, for me, I've always wondered, like, what if I went back in time and I just had modern weapons? I don't know, you can just cause so much chaos. It'd feel unfair, but also pretty satisfying at the same time. And like I said, it sounds too good to be true because you're going to be switching between your combat and your strategy and your base defense. Plus, there's going to be co-op, so you can play it with friends. I don't know, to me, Kingmakers is one of those games that I'm so looking forward to, but at the same time, it like should have been out already, but they keep delaying it. So I'm crossing my fingers that, I don't know, maybe at the end of the year or maybe next year, but it still looks so much fun to play. Coming up next at number 8 is Norse Oath of Blood, which is going to be this turn-based tactical RPG set in the harsh, myth-soaked landscapes of Viking Age Norway. In the game, you'll play as Gunnar, a young warrior exiled after his father's murder, driven to rebuild his shattered settlement, forge alliances, and get some good old vengeance on those who wronged him. The combat is very tactical, you'll need a lot of smart positioning, you gotta use the terrain as well as unit synergy. Plus, each warrior that you have will come with unique skills that you can use on the battlefield. I mean, from their weapons to their armors and abilities, they can also all be customized and upgraded. Now, I played the demo during the recent Steam Next Fest. It was very cool. It reminded me a lot of Expeditions Vikings or maybe War Tales, and it also has some pretty funny moments. Like, to me, they were funny. It's nice seeing some writing that's a little bit original and not just like, I'm the most epic Viking ever kind of thing. You know what I mean? The gameplay was cool, had a lot of fun in it. I'm excited to see more, so if you love your turn-based tactics, then maybe add Norse Oath of Blood to your wishlist today, as it might just be a lot of fun. Next up at number 7 is Espiocracy, which is due for release sometime later this year. This is going to be one of those grand strategy games. Think Hearts of Iron, but with some Cold War spy stuff going on underneath. In the game, you're in the early Cold War era, pick a superpower, and then you're just going to start scheming and putting all the different schemes on. And basically, you're going to be scheming. There's not going to be massive brute force going on here. You're going to have just basically your agents, your propaganda, your coups, just a lot of background deals going on. That's because unlike most strategy games where you're going to be taking over more territory than dust under my bed, in Espiocracy you're going to be infiltrating nations, manipulating governments, and just quietly nudging world events to go the way that you want them to. Does that make it sound fun for you? And if you like grand strategies, messy politics, and a little bit of Cold War vibes going on, well, Espiocracy is going to be your kind of game. Coming up next at number 6 is Mewgenics, which is set for release in February next year. And yes, if the art style looks familiar, that's because it's coming from the developer that was behind The Binding of Isaac. But this time around, it's going to be a roguelike tactical RPG life sim hybrid, which puts you in charge of a chaotic cat breeding empire. It's quite a mouthful, but let's see how it goes. In the game, you'll breed and manage generations of feline fighters, sending them on grid-based missions to battle monsters, collect loot, and inevitably die heroically, or in weird ways, you could say. Each cat has got different genetics, traits, and mutations that carry over to future generations, creating an evolving lineage filled with quirks like dyslexia, hyperactivity, or freakish physical traits. It sounds very weird, but also kind of cool. And that art style looks truly Macmillan, the developer behind The Binding of Isaac. It's gonna be weird. Yeah, it just looks very interesting. If you're a strategy gamer that wants a little bit of unhinged strategy, a little bit of dark humor, a little bit of chaos going on, well then maybe Mewgenics might just be the game for you. Then coming up next at number 5 is Dawn of War 4, which is set for release sometime next year. And I'm not sure about you, but will this be the RTS of 2026? Let me know in the comments section. What many fans will be happy about though is that Dawn of War will intend to return to its roots, promising deep, satisfying gameplay and this brutal, expanded sink-kill system, even though it's coming from the devs who brought us Iron Harvest. The game is going to feature 4 distinct factions, the Space Marines, the Orcs, the Necrons, and making their series debut, the Adeptus Mechanicus, which cannot wait. What's more is that it'll include 4 comprehensive story campaigns with over 70 missions, which you will be able to play both solo and in co-op. In addition to the campaigns, the game will also offer Last Stand and Skirmish modes that'll also come with like more than 30 missions, while the multiplayer components will feature over 30 maps. If you are a Dawn of War enthusiast, or maybe you just really enjoy RTS games, then this should definitely be added to your wishlist today. Then coming in at number 4 is Whiskerwood, a colony sim / city builder that might just give Timberborn a run for its money. I played the demo a while back and got very hooked very quickly. It's a game where you have these mice stuck on this little island, and now it's your job to A, keep them alive, and B, help turn this island into an industrial powerhouse for your feline overlords. And yes, of course the cats are in charge, they always are. So every few days they'll send you supplies, provided you can afford the taxes. The verticality caught me off guard though, like you have a lot of planning, and it took me a few attempts to optimize my village layouts with all the different stacked buildings. And I must say the mice are very cute. They have these little animations for everything, and trying to keep them alive was quite challenging. Actually, most of the game had that right amount of challenge. For example, in Timberborn you have the drought, but here you have the winter, a bit like in Banished, where if you are not prepared enough, your mice will turn into little micicles. Set for release on the 6th of November for PC, Whiskerwood is definitely one to watch, especially if you love colony sim and city builder games like Timberborn, and this one looks like a lot of fun. Then coming in at number 3 is Atre Dominance Wars, which sets out to be this epic 4x real-time strategy game that also mixes in some god game elements. In the game you play as an immortal elder battling for power and the chance at godhood. The game mixes empire building with real-time strategy that comes with divine powers that can literally reshape the map. This game mixes in empire building and real-time tactics with divine powers that can literally reshape the world. For example, blessing lands or maybe even obliterating them. Your armies are led by persistent avatars who level up, equip mystical artifacts, and then clash across 4 volatile realms held in tension by a looming cataclysm called the Merge. The battles look pretty cool. They come with this magical layer that lets elders co-cast or countercast world-shifting spells. And when it comes to the campaign, it'll all unfold through procedurally generated regions and reactive storylines shaped by your magical affinities. Now, it's from the team Iron Ward, who brought us the sci-fi strategy The Red Solstice a while back in 2015, so it looks like they want to get into more high fantasy this time around. Atre is planned for release sometime next year, but they do have a Kickstarter up and running, which by the time you're watching should be easily backed, which is so great to see, as I do hope it gets some solid traction, as it does look like a solid 4x strategy game for next year. Then coming up next at number 2, we've got MENACE, which is set for release in February next year. And ooh, am I looking forward to this game. Even though it is a sci-fi turn-based tactics game where you have your own base, do not be thinking it's going to be the next XCOM, because it's not. It's far from that. And that's because it's coming from Overhyped Studios, the same team behind Battle Brothers. And while playing the demo, well, it came with some brutal difficulty that takes some getting used to, but once you're locked in, it's a lot of fun. MENACE works a bit differently to most games like this though. Here you'll get to pick your own team leaders and upgrade them and give them their own armor and weapons, and then they will be looking after their own squad. These squad leaders will come with their own unique perks and personalities, and the rest of their team or squaddies are basically just human meat shields. Choosing the missions is a bit roguelike-y, a bit like FTL in a way where you can choose where to go, but naturally all the fun comes from that battlefield. The maps are large, so positioning and knowing how to use your squad's weapons and abilities is very important. The vehicles are awesome too, it's a nice touch to this, and I also loved how your team engage with each other. However, the game is hard and will put a lot of people off, but I love the experience, I love the graphics, I love the sound. It all came together really well. So if you are a big fan of Battle Brothers and I guess older sci-fi turn-based games, MENACE is definitely going to be the game for you. And then finally, coming in at number 1, the game that I'm most looking forward to this year, it's Anno 117, which is coming out in November. If you've ever dreamed of ruling over the Roman Empire, this one is for you. In the game, you're tasked with governing the 2 twin cities of Latium and Albion each with their own different advantages and challenges. But in the end, you'll be trying to grow your empire through economic expansion or maybe even military dominance, whichever you want to go with. There's so much to say about it though. I mean, the graphics themselves. Now, I'm not much of a graphics person, but damn, these visuals are amazing. I had tons of fun with it too. It's just very streamlined. I mean, yes, it is Ubisoft, but they know what they're doing, and I cannot wait for the next Anno series. And if you are too, then Anno 117 Pax Romana definitely needs to be on your wish list. I cannot wait to play it. And that wraps up my video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or maybe even subscribe to find more games to get lost in. What game did I leave out? What strategy game are you most looking forward to? Let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games. And as always, don't stop gaming.